Guys, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see the agenda for the day. There is a link at the top so that you can access it, so you can go to that website. And then the first thing to do is to complete the Google form for attending this session today. So I think that's how they're keeping track of which sessions you've attended. So if you will, just click that link. So it's going to come up to you in just a minute. So you can go to that link at the top, the bit.ly/custom Schoology. And then the Google form is right here in the hyperlink. Okay, guys, I'm getting several texts about how to sign in. So in order to sign in, you're going to have to go to this link right here on your own computer. So you can just open a new tab, and then you'll be able to view this Google Doc, and you can click the links from there. So this is what you'll be clicking on when you get to this screen. Are you guys getting notifications that the site is blocked? Malia, can you unmute your mic and tell me if you can get in? Hey, everybody. Can y'all get into this website?
The Bitly?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So if you're having trouble, I don't know why you couldn't get there. I had to type in the URL to be able to access it. Okay, yes. Type in this whole thing right here. There's no way for me to know who all was going to be in this course, so that's the easiest way to get it to you, other than trying to make sure I email. Thank you guys for using the chat feature and sharing. So if you know me well, you know I hate awkward silence. I just feel so weird that I'm in a room by myself and I can see all of your faces, but I'm just hearing absolutely nothing. It's so weird to just sit here in silence.
You're doing great, Brooke, and that's a cute top.
Thanks, appreciate it. I'm also working on 2 computers, which is why I'm not looking at you because what you're doing over here. I'm so excited. We have 77 people in this group. That is fabulous. I hope you guys are not feeling super overwhelmed. Let me just back up. I'm sure we are all feeling overwhelmed, but we're going to make this through it together. So you guys can use the chat feature while we're waiting. I'm just going to kind of give everybody a little bit more time because every second somebody else is joining. If you want to use the chat to talk to each other, you can. If you have questions, you can post those there, and I'll try to moderate on my other computer. But you too, like how are you guys feeling about Schoology? If you don't want to unmute and talk, because I know we're going to have 80 something people talking over each other. If you want to just drop that in the comments, or if there's something that I can answer today or whatever, please let me know so that I make sure that we hit all the topics that you need. So guys, if you're just joining us, we are going to the link at the top of the screen. If it doesn't work for you in the chat, some very sweet people have put the direct Google Doc link. You'll want to go here so that you can fill out this Google form to sign in that you were in this session. And that way they have record and can give you your credit hours for today. You may also want to make sure your mic is muted before we get going, just so you don't say anything that you don't want anybody else to hear. I see you laughing there, Melanie, but it's true. Somebody just asked, where is the link? Christy, if you'll look up in the chat just a hair, Alexis and Christina have been kind enough to give it to you right there. Shannon, y'all may see me eating here in just a minute because I'm starving. Oh, Terry, I hate that problem. We'll try to make it to that for sure. All right, so it is 8:30 on the dot, so I will go ahead and get started. If you just came in the last couple seconds, make sure that you go to this link right here or click the links in the chat so that you can see this Google Doc. I've tried to outline the steps on what we're going to do today. And then once you're there, you're going to want to click this Google form so that you can sign in. That goes straight to the central office. It's not my sign-in sheet, and they can keep record of you being here today. Is there a way, Julie McAbee, I'm reading yours. Is there a way to make everyone else's faces go away and make your presentation full screen? I just see them to the side, so I'm not sure how you're seeing them, Julie. I just have that. But you can click the 3 dots on the bottom right corner and then choose the full screen option. All right, guys, some of you I think are logging in with your personal Gmail accounts because it's asking me to approve you, but I know who you are. So I'm just saying for the future courses, you may want to use your school account in case somebody doesn't know your name and then doesn't let you in something. All right, so here we go. So like I said before, I am videoing off of one screen and using my desktop because I have dual monitors to see what you guys are seeing. So if I'm not looking at you, I'm not trying to be rude. I just want to make sure that you're seeing the correct thing too. So as you can see at the top of my agenda, the first thing I've created is my own Bitmoji classroom. And that seems to be like all the rage, which is kind of how this started. So I just want to give you some ideas and tips to make your Schoology classroom pretty and functional. So we're going to start with basically using some things like banners, and I'm going to show you what my classroom looks like that I made the other day. And then we're going to go through some together, and then I'm going to give you some time to play with it on your end so that we can problem solve together, and you can leave this session hopefully with something that's pretty and functional and you're ready to go. So in my Schoology course, and I'm just going to be trying to change in tabs, so hang with me. I'm going to use a class that I've been playing around with here.
It, don't we?
Yep.
So this is the Bitmoji that you've already seen, but it's embedded where it has this hyperlink right here. So if I click that, it will actually take me to a new website. So that's another option in your Bitmoji classroom as well. And then the other day, what you guys saw, and I'm so sorry, I thought it was in this class already, was some of you saw it on Facebook, like some links to my custom banner. So I'm just going to open that up real quick so you can see. You got to love technology no matter how prepared you think you are. It doesn't go the way you think it will. And I'll be honest and tell you, I can't even remember what I called it. I think it was something to do with black and white. There it is. So this is what I made the other day. I shared on my personal Facebook page, and that's kind of how this session was born. And so each one of these icons here actually link to a different in my Schoology classroom. The benefit to that is that the students now have an easier way to navigate where they're going. If you're an elementary teacher, I specifically love this idea because I can't imagine trying to teach everybody to go into like 7 different courses to access all the content. So this is just kind of a shell that gets them where they need to go, and you can make them pretty with other pictures. Like if it's reading, you could have a picture of a kid reading, things like that, just to draw their attention. If you're high school, obviously we want to make it look pretty as well. We know our students can go ahead and read what we have, but once again, it just helps with the functionality. So this was created by me entirely. I just looked at some other people's things and then made my own. The good news for you is if you want to make your own, you can, but there are so many people who are sharing free resources right now that you do not have to do that. So I'm going to jump back to our agenda, and I'm sorry to jump around on you. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to decide what you want your class to look like. What icons do you want? Do you want a banner at the top like I had? Do you want your banner to have your contact information? Would you rather it be just real, you know, welcome to my class, here's my contact information. You can have a picture of you or your Bitmoji up there, anything you want. And then what folders do you want them to have? You may want them to have 10 options. If you're somebody who uses, you know, Brain Pop or Discovery Ed and you want to link to those different resources, you can have those as your icons too. So that's kind of step one, and I'm just hovering kind of through our steps. I tried to make this document so that when I'm not doing this meeting anymore, you can still have like step-by-step instructions. So step number 2 is to create your own buttons, icons, headers, whatever you want to do. You can use a variety of programs to make this happen. There's no one size fits all. There's some that may be easier to do than others. I personally prefer to do them on a Windows machine. Okay, that's just my personal preference because I like to use a lot of different programs. I'm just one of those people. And so I may have something that I do in Canva and then download it and do it in PowerPoint for a different thing, then put it in Google Draw. So, you know, I'm like 14 steps in sometimes. You can use Google Draw is what I would recommend first. because it just has the ease of functionality. Google Slides doesn't quite work the same as PowerPoint for this specific purpose. However, we can make a workaround for anything. So if you're on your Chromebook today, I would definitely recommend going to a website like Canva. It does have a little bit of a learning curve. So if you've never used it, start with a Google product, a Google Doc or Google Draw. In bold on number 2, you can see I said I recommend making sure your links and things are ones that you do not have to change frequently, because depending on how you make this, which is why I'm recommending Google Draw, depending on how you make it, you would end up having to change your links and then go change your Schoology. So let's just eliminate as many steps as we can. You can download customizable templates from Teachers Pay Teachers. And so I've given you like 5 here in templates. These links right here that you can look at or you can make your own. So what I would like to do is, if you are here today and you're like, making my own would be great, but that's not where I am or whatever, I would like to give you a few minutes to go ahead and you can click these links. You can search Teachers Pay Teachers, just open up a new tab. You're going to be typing in like Schoology templates. You can type in banners for Schoology, website banners, all of that stuff will still work. And then you can just download them, type in your name, change the colors, whatever you want them to look like. So here's a couple right here. And then, well, they're all really that. The buttons and banners are actually a search that I did, and they're already free, ready for you as well. So if you're here and you would like to learn how to make them, if you don't mind, if you want to like give me a thumbs up in your video, so I know how many people I'm talking to. We're up to 150 people. You want to know how to make your own? Let me go scroll through the cameras here. All right. Okay, I'm seeing several thumbs up. So okay, you're gonna go down the rabbit hole here. So I hope you're ready. Okay, so if you do not want to learn how to make your own, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to click on one of these templates just so you can see the difference in what I'm talking about real fast. It's going to force copy you, which is perfect because you do need this in your own Google Drive. Let me go ahead and warn you, this is for everybody, whether you're making your own or not. I had this happen at home the other night. I was working on my stuff and I opened some things in my personal account. If you just share them with yourself, it's not going to work in Schoology. You can't share it, and you have to be the sole owner and creator. So start in the account you want to embed with. We had some people here who shared Bitmoji classrooms with one another, and that doesn't work either. So you've got to make sure that you are the owner. So this is the sample that Brittany Cohen, I think is her name. You can thank her because she's worked tirelessly on some of these efforts. This is all you got to do is click in there and type whatever you want it to say. We'll get to your Bitmoji in step 2 of this training, so don't panic if you don't know what to do. And you can make this anything you want it to be. You can make all of these anything you want them to be. And this is where you would type in like your links, like where I had syllabus. And then, of course, you may need to stretch it out. Any links you use, like I was in a group this morning talking about spelling. That's fresh on my mind. And then we'll go from there. So if this is what you want to do, if you like this idea and that's perfect for you, I'm going to leave you alone here with some of those templates to play with. If you have any questions, you can see that she's got a YouTube channel here that will help you, or you can put them in the chat. And you guys are welcome to unmute and interrupt me. I just know it's a little harder to do that when you have so many people on a call. Okay, if you're wanting to learn how to make your own, I'm going to start. I'm trying to think. How many of you are on Chromebooks? Give me a thumbs up if you're on a Chromebook. Okay, if you're on a Chromebook, I'm going to have you start here in Google Draw. So I'm just going to start my own. Give me just 1 second. Tech department are asking questions. All right, so before I go any further, I've got 2 people saying, how do I access the presentation? If you will scroll up in the chat, the last person to share the link is Melanie Holiday. You can click her link and then you'll have access to what we're viewing. Well, Beth, I'm so glad you got it. Sorry that took me a minute. Okay, and how do we get to the template? So if you, Amy, if you find this right here, then you can just click the links. So just scroll up in your chat. And then you should be able to get it. Let's see, can you post it again? I'm gonna post it one more time in the chat here. Oh, we don't have earlier chat posts. Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying. And then don't forget, guys, if you are just joining us and you came in a little late, make sure you click that Google form sign in. Like I said, that goes to the accounting office. That does not come to me. All right. So all of you that are ready to jump down the rabbit hole to make your own. So the first thing you can do is just start kind of, like I said, get an idea of what you want this to look like. Do you want to have like a header like this at the top? Okay, you can see that she has like a chevron background. Okay, so we would need to go to like Teachers Pay Teachers and download some free digital paper to make it cute like that. Okay, see, I see your faces. So I'm saying, if you go down the rabbit hole, it's a lot of steps. If you just are fine with shapes, like you can come up here to Google Draw and like I'll just build the same thing I built the other day, for example. And I'm just going to start with a rectangle to make my banner. And then you can fill it in whatever color. So if your classroom colors are pink and yellow, it can be that too. Hang on just one second. I'll go grab that other link for you. At least you guys are helping me out for the next session to make it easier for everybody else. The second one is the Google form link. Supposed to be anyway. All right, so now I'm just going to keep layering. Like I'll go and get my circle because that's what I had on the left earlier. I'm going to give it that white outline. And you can see that this is not 100% what I built the other day because I didn't build it in Google Draw. So I might have to layer another shape on top to make it look more like what I had. So this time I'll make the middle black again, but I'm going to make the outline white as well. Okay, so we're getting closer. All right. So to make those buttons that I had at the bottom, they were circles as well. So I'm going to make those black. And I had 6 of them, so I'm going to simply copy and paste. If you use your little guides, you can line them up and make sure that they're spaced apart symmetrically. Yeah, somebody has asked if we are recording this. The answer is yes. And if y'all need me to slow down, just put that in the chat. Because I don't know where you are with your technology skills. Making this is kind of difficult, but copy and paste is something we probably do every day. If you're taking notes, then you may want me to slow down. So just let me know. Awesome. Shannon. Yes. Thank you, Summer. Google Drive, press new, and then go to Google Draw. All right, so I'm going to pause right here and let you kind of get an idea. And then if you have some questions, you can put those in the chat and kind of let me know. All right, go back over the circle. Okay, so I went into Insert, shape, and then I chose the circle. And then you can drag it to be however big you want it to be. And then you can change the colors to make them match your room, your theme, your personality. And that shade color is right here with where the fill is. So I'll make this one blue just to be different. At the beginning outline. Ms. Willis, are you talking about this one? Okay. So I just made a circle just like I did right here, but I made the border color or the outline a different color. And then I actually layered another circle on top of it. And guys, when you're making this stuff, like the layers are really your best friend to make it look the way you want it to. So to match it, I changed it to black again. And then you can change the border again. So to add the banner, Tara, I just went into insert shapes again, but I chose rectangle and I just made it a banner. So behind this circle, it's going to group them together, but is just this rectangle. Now, like I said, I was just kind of building what I built the other day because you already had a visual. You do not have to put a banner. You can make as many circles as you want. You can make them squares. You can make them rectangles. I've seen them have like the rounded border rectangle, so they have longer space to put reading or social studies. It can be anything you want it to be. Some of them I've even seen have folders, like the little folder icon. Terry, I just usually highlight them like that and then drag. Brad, I'm copying the link for you right now. Oh, maybe that's the one to the Google Meet. Sorry. I see that people keep coming and going. So are you guys having internet connectivity issues at your school? All right, I caught the tail end. Where to go for the templates? Thank you, Miss Willis. Mary, so the templates, if you're on our agenda here, you can click these links, or we are in Google Draw right now creating our own. All right, and then you can just use, like, see how I have the red lines coming in? That is to align them, like, with one another, so you can do that. Just to make sure they're all correct. All right, so now we can text box. I'm going to go to the T. I'm going to go to the T. You will yourself. I'm trying to mute you, but I can't. There we go. All right, so I'm going to draw a text box and I'm going to put it here. And so what I had typed before was Miss Hudson's class. Then you can make it whatever size you want. Obviously 48 is a little big. All right, so I'm trying to give some pause time so you can catch up if you're coming in late. Okay, so if I'm being honest, the one reason why I don't build my stuff in Google Draw like I'm teaching you to do is because I don't like the font choices. Okay, that's super picky of me, but it's just true. So if I was going to make this like pretty and go change the font, they've gotten better. You can make it look however you want to, whatever matches you. Yes, I will be happy to send you the links as soon as we're finished. You're welcome, Melanie. So from here, like on my specific page, I went and made another text box under like Miss Hudson's class. And this is where I put what I taught, but this might be the place that you want to put your phone number or you want to put your email address. When parents are able to access your course, they will actually be able to see like your home screen or your announcements section. So this is where this will go. So if you're thinking easy way for them to be able to contact you or figure out what to do with your courses, you may want to put that information here. Now I'm just going to kind of work with it until I like where it's at placement wise. What format is my favorite or what program? Program, my personal favorite is Canva. You can have a free account. It just has a little bit of a learning curve, and I'll be happy to work on that here in just a little bit too. PowerPoint and Publisher are the easiest to actually just create the individual buttons, especially like as far as the way you save them and stuff. So if I'm being honest, I download everything from Canva into PowerPoint, then save it the way that's easiest, and then upload it into Google Draw. So I'm like 3 steps in to get what you saw on your screen, which is why we're just starting with the easiest level today. Now over here on the left-hand side where the circle is where I had my picture. You could put your Bitmoji right here. And I'm not going to do Bitmoji yet. I'm going to do that at the end. So you can add all the Bitmoji stuff that you want to when we've done it. You could also like remove this circle and just make the banner stretch across all the way, kind of like that first template we looked at. So anything, you can do anything you want to do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add my text to my circles or your squares, whatever you have on your screen. And this is where you're going to link them. So whatever you've decided in your mind, like I'm going to have a link for reading, or I'm going to have a link for the syllabus or resources, something like that. This is where you want to put that link text. And once again, you just kind of have to play till it's what you like. And I don't like that that has a white background, so I'm going to go back and just make it white text. Terry, in the chat, what type of banner, divider are you talking about?
All right, if I want to put a divider like between my buttons, hanging, what would I put?
So I would, if I were you, I would go insert a shape and make a very, very small rectangle. Like if you wanted it to be thicker, like something like that. Is that kind of what you mean?
Or you
Exactly.
could.
No, that's exactly what I mean. Yes.
Okay. Or you can use the line tool and just make it super thick. Either one.
Yeah, the line was just so thin, it just didn't work.
Okay.
But
I
that's a
would
good
just make
idea.
a real skinny rectangle.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And guys, please jump in with your questions. It's just so hard not being in the room with you guys because I don't know where you are. I don't know if your internet's there or not. So I'm kind of thinking on the wavelength of dividers. You know, you could make one whole thing of this and divide each section. You know, there may be, this whole section may be reading, and I may have 3 reading links. This one may be math and have math links or something like that. You can create links to like a whole Google Drive folder. So if you had like something I have a whole bunch of documents at the beginning of the year that my students have to fill out for our state JAG association. So I have all of those papers in one Drive folder, and that is one of my buttons. So it links to that folder with all 4 or 5 documents in it. That's something that you could do. I'm just thinking you can also link to a page in Schoology. So I don't know how much Schoology training you've had at your school, but since you're here, I'm thinking you must feel pretty confident, either with Schoology or the computer or both. So you can actually get the link, like the www link to like a specific assignment or a specific folder, and then link that on your buttons. So if you see in the bottom right where this diagonal, my mouse is, and I start dragging it out, you can change the size of your Google Draw. So if you decide you need 14 buttons, you know, we can just keep stretching until they all fit. So if you need 4 reading buttons, you can do that too. It does not have to be just that little square or just three across. All right, so I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to kind of get this to what you like. If you need to, I didn't show you how to make a link, so I'm going to do that because you're going to type your text in there. So let's say that I want to make my reading folder go to a certain website. Okay, so I'm going to use the ever so lovely accelerated reader. Whoops, .co, how about .com? Now at your school, you're going to have your own unique, this will work, your own unique URL. So I'm just going to use something for a sample. So I've got the website. I'm going to copy and paste it. So I copy it off there. And when I click this text, or you can make the whole circle, either one, you can go click the hyperlink and paste it. So when you make these buttons, you want to make every single one of these linking to something. That's the goal or the idea. Now, please know that you can come back and fix this later. So if you don't have, like I have 8 circles here. If I don't know what all 8 links are today, that's okay. Like you don't have to do it right this second. You have tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday to kind of edit it and get it right. If you know what you want, that's great. I just don't want you to think, I don't know and I've got to do it right now. Can you hyperlink to a Google Doc? Absolutely. So you would just get that Google Doc from the share button. And make sure, this is going to save it to my personal. I'm so sorry. Let me jump back to this. Lovely technology. But you're just going to go to that share button. Now, let me get out of that real fast. But you're going to go there. Make sure that the link, you change the permissions to everyone can view. So I'm my own best worst example here on why you need to make sure you're in your work Google Drive and not your personal accounts, because that is exactly what happens. Y'all hold on just a second. I'm going to actually swap accounts so that it will all be the same. Come on, computer. There we go. So remember when I said earlier that like if you're not the owner, then it doesn't work? That is what happens. So I want to make sure that I'm in the account that I want to link to. And it will link from a personal account. That's not the issue. I just personally don't want to have to go hunt down a few accounts. And all I did, guys, was select all and just copy and paste. Lose a little bit of formatting, but it's better than having to go back and forth all the time. All right, so now I'm in the correct account. And you just saw how I did that. I didn't explain it, but you can go back and watch. So from there, can you hyperlink to a Google Doc? Yes, hit the share button, change the settings, and you're just going to copy and paste that link here. So you can link to a Google Doc, you could link to a whole Google folder. And I'm going to pause right here on my drawing to show you how to get your Schoology link. So in another tab right here, I have my Schoology class up. I'll click into my course here. And you can actually right click on it and get copy link address. So you could do that for an assignment. You could do that for a whole folder, like our training folder right here. You could copy the whole folder and then link that here. So if your entire unit was in that one folder on Schoology, they could just come click here. Okay, so from the thumbs up, thumbs down perspective, are you ready to go to the next step, or are you needing some more time to work? You tell me what's best for you. We've got plenty of time. And some of you may be the people who just need to do this by yourself at a later time, and I totally understand that too. All right, I've got one thumbs up. I see that. Let me change screen. I'm just going to where I can see all of you. Okay, yeah, I totally understand if you need to do this later on your own or watch this later.
Hey, Brooke.
Hey.
So does putting the Bitmoji stuff and the banner on the Schoology page, does that slow like when they're uploading? I don't know what I'm asking. If they log into their Schoology page, does it take a lot of juice to pull that Bitmoji up? Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. At least it doesn't sound like to be my experience yet. But no, it shouldn't add any additional time in theory. I mean, as long as you're not making all of this, like lots of pictures with lots of like extra stuff, you'll be fine.
Okay.
It's just it's going to be another web page is what we're going to make it. So as quick as the internet can load, should be as quick as it loads. So if you're at your home computer and you live in the country, like I grew up, it's going to be some slower speed, but it's going to be slower no matter what. Does that make sense?
Okay, so I'm going to jump back to that agenda. Okay, so number 3 says, now for the fun. There are many ways to accomplish these things depending on your end goal. Now that's the key. What do you want this to be? So Google Draw is what we did. And the reason I love Google Draw in option 1 is because if I decide that I have made a reading folder and a unit folder and something else, and I go change those because I realize the second week it's not working, anything you change on this screen automatically changes in your Schoology. So you change it one time. So that's why I put everything into Google Draw so I don't ever have to worry about making sure it gets changed in multiple places. Let's see. Can you please try to get the Schoology link one more time? Yes. So in your class, whatever you're linking, just kind of hover and right click on your computer and then copy link address. Schoology doesn't give you like a specific link. It's just a web link. Okay, so I've tried to make this part of your agenda that I'm kind of circling over step by step so that you can do this on your own. So we've already like added our images, that kind of thing. We've added our links. So in Schoology, this is where we are. We're going to go to the announcements page and choose the resources button at the bottom. So open up your Schoology. So you're going to have like 3 tabs open, the agenda, your Google Draw, and your Schoology. And we're going to go to updates over here. All right, and if you haven't been told, these buttons down here, well, you can link things too. So going by the instructions, this one is to choose the resources button. Choose your apps. And you should have this Google Drive resources. And you can see my very first one is a sample banner, which is what I saved it as. That's what I called it. And I'm going to check that box. Alexis, if you will hang on, I will answer that question because it's somewhere in some other notes of mine. All right, so repeating those instructions. So I'm in my Schoology. And I have the updates tab over here. And this is kind of like your Facebook feed. Anything you want the students to know, you can put here. And it just kind of stacks up like a feed. I'm going to click the resource button. The apps on the left. You should have this Google Drive resource app. If you do not, I need you to put that in the comments because we need to go add it for you. And this is one of those things, we've all had different training at our school, so I don't know what all you've been told. Hopefully we've all told you the same stuff, but I'm sure we have forgotten a few things along the way. All right, so you're going to click whichever thing you saved it as, whatever you're importing at this point. And when you check, I'm just going to uncheck. When you check, you'll notice that this import option automatically appears for you. So I'm going to choose import. And guys, you should have something right here that says import embed, which I don't have. Once again, love technology. I'm just going to ask real fast. I do not have the app. I do not have Google Drive. Okay. If you're with me, is there anybody who already sees import embed by chance? I do not. All right. There is an import embed workaround. Yes, there is. No. Okay. So guys, I'm going to click this X and I'm going to jump back. So if you already have the Google Drive resource app, just hang tight a minute so that we can help some other people get with us. So guys, if you do not have the Google Drive resource app, I'm going to start there. At the top of your Schoology, you have the 4 little squares. That's your app center. Click that and let's open our app center. And the very first one is the Google Drive resource app. If you click it, you can install it right here. Terry, you read my mind. That was exactly where I was going next. So guys, I've been telling my teachers here at school with me that I know this is a bit overwhelming, and I know that you've probably had excellent training at your school because we all went through the same training, and I don't know how some of the trainers in this session feel, but I told several of them we could stand up and do the absolute best job and we're still going to forget something. They're still going to have something where the embed thing doesn't show up, and we've got to find some workarounds. And so just be patient with this entire learning process. It's changing. People are coming up with new hacks and ideas, you know, every hour it seems like. So like I said, if you don't see something, please don't be afraid to ask. I have text messages on my phone telling me to slow down. I have it in the chat. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. So please, let me know what you need. That's my goal, is that you have something that you are proud of and can work with at the end of the session. All right, so if we've installed that now, you should now see that when we do the resources, but it also shows up under the resources tab and under apps again. And you should see it right here. If you have that, then you have successfully done it. That's interesting, Miss Crocker, and thank you, Miss Smith. Appreciate that. All right, so at this point, if we all have the Google Drive resource app, I'm going to click back into courses and then back into whatever course I'm in. And I've had about 4 people borrow my sign-in when they couldn't get in. So I have classes from all sorts of things. So if you read in the comments, Terry has kind of outlined exactly what to do to fix the whole import embed option. The reason why I want to make sure I import the embed is because that's what fixes it if you change it in Google Draw and then puts it into Schoology. So if you don't embed it, then the whole fix it over here isn't going to work. You're still going to make yourself do 2 or 3 steps. So in order to do that, I'm going to add a material and I'm going to add a page. And you do have to have a page title, so I'm going to try it again. It may take just a second to remember how to make it work. Harry, if you remember it faster, you can put it in the chat. So I did this once and then mine worked, but I didn't have trouble the next time. And that is something I've found out is that like one time it works great one way, not so great the other way. That's how I figured out if you don't own the file in Google Drive and it's been shared, it doesn't work that way either. So lots of different options there. You can also insert content here from the resource app. That's another way. And ta-da, there it is. So in case you missed that before I hit save, this insert content button right here, the little square and the arrow, this is where you can insert the apps that you've installed. Or you can insert a picture straight into this box here. Okay, so I'm going to try to create it, see if we get anywhere. Please do that again. Okay, so I went to add materials, add page. And the reason I'm doing it this way, guys, is because remember that import option did not show up for me the first time. So this is what happens if you did not have like insert embedded link or whatever the term was. I can't remember. This is kind of a workaround to make it pop up. And why it does that, wish I could tell you, but I can't. So I went to this square and arrow. And Terry, like I said, if you've got a better thought that you from something you know, please jump in and tell us. And then I click the resource app again. I'm checking the box that I want to import. The import shows up. And then import embed. Now, when I've done this, I usually have to come down here and make it do like the display inline thing. And you can click like the little picture button and you can resize it. So yay, like it's previewing. That's awesome. And you can make it, you know, whatever you want it to be. So it automatically changes that. Insert and create. And of course. There it is. So yay, it worked. It's on this page. But the original idea for all of this was to make this pin like at the top, like you saw originally, because it's no good to the students if they have to log in and scroll all the way through your stuff to get there. The way to do that is on this updates tab on the left, which is where we started, and we're going to hope for the best this time. So now I'm going to try to follow those directions and hope that that insert embed is there, and go to resource, apps again. And ta-da, do you see now that it's here? So import embed. And you want to see this preview. Let me just clarify. If you don't see the preview, then it's not going to work. I've tried it the right way and I've tried it the wrong way a million times at this point. To make it pin at the top for your students to see, make sure you click this little drop down and check the bell. That's what makes it an announcement. The good thing with announcements too is that if you also, you know, like I said, parents are going to be able to see this page at some point when they get their parent codes. So if you needed to say picture day is tomorrow for, you know, or field trip money is due Friday, you can also put that there just so every time they do anything on any page, it's always going to be at the top. And then hit post. And there it is. And if you see, if I like hover over this black circle, it's going to automatically link me to AR Book Find. Now I'm trying to find that size that y'all were asking, or somebody put in the chat. You can see this is kind of small. And you can change that. What I had found for my Bitmoji, and I may be wrong, guys, and I'm trying to look for it. It was like 600 or 900 for this. But that was in a Google slide. So you may want to come back to your Google Draw and you can just kind of keep playing with it. Or you can also go down here to File, Page Setup, and you can give it custom dimensions. So you can do it by inches, pixels, centimeters. So I can see from my screen that if this is 10 inches wide and 7.5 inches tall, like I want it to be bigger and wider. So I may want to adjust those. Oops. All right, so that is how you get this lovely Google drawing into your Schoology classes. That's how you keep it at the top. So I'm going to go to my courses real fast and just kind of go over some thoughts that have been spit out. Some people have texted me, emailed me, asking different questions. So I'm going to share with you kind of some thoughts I have on this whole process. So your courses should populate straight from mine out. So for me, mine is not 100% correct, but if you're like an elementary teacher, you would have like your homeroom to post attendance, and then you're going to have several other subjects to follow. I've been asked, could you link it all out of one classroom? The answer is yes. I'll say that with the caveat if that's something that your administrator is okay with you doing. You're not going to have anything embedded at the top of your courses. They're still going to have to click inside the course to get to what you just created. So next school year, as I'm sure you've been told, like the grades that you put into Schoology will automatically feed into iNow, so you won't have to transpose them like you would this school year. So I say that to say, if you put all of your math work into your reading class in Schoology, then when you go to grade stuff, your grade book's going to be full of all the different subjects. So I hope that makes sense, kind of what I'm trying to convey. Could you have like a start here and then link your math to the entire math course? Absolutely. So Kelly says we don't have a homeroom course listed. Okay, fabulous. So if you wanted to just use your reading class, like I said, I'm just jumping around kind of, if you wanted to just use your pre-cal class for pre-cal and calculus or something, you could actually link the hyperlink buttons we just made to a whole class. So you have several options to make this work. And you can do it however fits best with your needs, because everybody's situation is completely different just across the board. And, you know, like at a high school where I am, we have some teachers that have students in various sections. So there's multiple periods. So when you count out the sections, it looks like in Schoology, they have 20 something classes. And that's not true, but you know, they don't need to click through each one just as a time saver. So the copy to course function is going to be their best friend. And so this is just a way to help you and help your students. While I'm on this little rabbit trail here, in like a Schoology best practices group I'm a part of, the one thing I've really taken away is if you're asking students to click into things like more than 3 times, then it's too hidden, it's too embedded. So you need to think about how many times are you asking them to click. So even if you are linking them to a certain folder, but you really only need them to find a certain assignment out of that folder, like how many times are they going to have to click through? So I hope that kind of helps you out a little bit. Elementary teachers, I taught a college course for Calhoun on Blackboard this year, and I'm just telling you, like my high school seniors could not click through something 6 times. So, you know, we're just going to have to be really mindful of how we set it up. So that's the rabbit trail. I'll try to get off my soapbox there, but I just know that our students have a learning curve too, and the best that we can, everything we can do to help them out, that's certainly what I want to try. Okay, so here's your embedded stuff. Remember, and I saw it in the chat, if I want to go over here, whoops, that is not the right screen, and say math. I just want to change it to be math now. When I come over here and refresh, it's going to say math. It should anyway. When you embedded it, it's supposed to change. Okay, so I don't know why it's not. Keep trying. There you go. So it may take it a second to click through. So anything you change in this Google Drawing is automatically going to change here. And that's why I love the whole Google Draw option. You'll see on your agenda that we do have this other option with Google Docs. Notice that I said the embed does not change on its own. The only good thing about Google Docs is if, like if you wanted to set it up kind of more like a table style or a grid view, you could do it that way. If you do it that way, I would make sure that you link it to things that are probably never going to change. And we all know we're going to stand up in class, especially the first few weeks, and say, yes, this is on Schoology. And then they're going to look at you and be like, no, it's not. So until we figure it all out, we're going to have, you know, some trial and error for sure. I personally am not going to show you the Google Docs way just because I don't love it. It could be handy, but for everything that you need, Google Draw will do. And if you make your buttons in PowerPoint, you can still save them and put them in Google Draw. That's what I did with my own, and I made them in Canva. So all those options are there. Notice my little asterisks here. You can also add images or GIFs to folders to make them more appealing as well. Be sure to save your Google Docs so that you can make quick changes. Or your Google Draw, either one. And then you can also change your course picture to a custom image to match your banners and buttons and notify which students to choose. Which course to choose. I can't read today. So in Schoology, you can see I put like our our Brewer B in our Brewer training course. And that way they would know that's the course. So you can actually click on like edit picture and you can upload anything that you want. So just the same as you just made all of this, you can now, because you know how to do it, you can just make one picture and upload that to your icon picture. So you can do that in Google Draw as well. You won't embed it. You'll actually go to File, Download, and you need to choose the JPEG or the PNG image, either one. And really, one of the reasons why I personally want to update this is because you can see they default to this same blue. And even for my own sanity, I want to know which one to easily click on. So I think that's definitely something I can help my students with, to say, click on the yellow one or click on the one where you see this or that. And that's the course to be in. So to do that, use Google Draw, download it as an image file, and then click your edit picture and you just kind of hover over it there. And then you're going to upload it from your downloads folder or attach it. All right, so that is our making like your buttons and your banners. If we have time at the end, I will introduce you just to the other little programs I use if you ever decide you're ready for that. And if not, then you can email me and let me know you're interested. Where to link the Bitmoji classroom? It is in Google Slides. Yes, so we're fixing to dive right into the Bitmoji thing. Can you go back to sizing? Mine is too small. So yes, real fast. So back in my Google Draw, you can choose, like I said, to keep kind of going this way. We did learn it seems to do better wider. So you may want to build it that way. Or you can go to File, Page Setup. All right. And if y'all will give me just a second, come right here. And of course, she has the chevron themed class. Y'all are asking about specific sizes. I'm just going to borrow hers, guys. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. So she was at 15.21 by 7.93 inches. So you could actually come and set yours up to be this same size. Where is the course inline? It is back in like your materials. I'll just open this one real quick. Oh, sorry, I meant the actual assignment. So when you're editing your page, this little button down here is display inline. All right, so I know a lot of you have kind of jumped on the Bitmoji classroom idea. So we're going to go through how to make your Bitmoji classroom. So in your agenda here, the first thing you got to do is actually create your Bitmoji. If you have not done that, then you're going to want to do that now. You can, to me, the easiest way is to just download the Bitmoji app on your phone and then follow the steps, like set up your account, make the Bitmoji look like you. You can pick your clothes, you can pick your hair color, your eye color. Do you want freckles? Do you wear glasses? You can change your clothes by the season, all that good stuff. So, create your Bitmoji. You may need to download the app. And then up here, the easiest thing I do is I just downloaded the Bitmoji extension on my Google Chrome. And then I can go click. It is the Bitmoji app, so just search for it. I'll bold it here. Search for it in the App Store or the Google Play Store. And it has this little green like face icon. You can kind of see it on my extension up here. Where do you add it to Chrome? So the easiest thing, Alicia, if you want to see it, the best thing I can do is go to this link, or if you scroll way back up in the chat, you'll find it. Guys, since we didn't know who was going to be in these sessions, there's not a good way for me to share out, you know, the materials like I wish I could. So you have to kind of go get them for yourself. So it's bit.ly/custom Schoology. All right, so to download the Bitmoji extension, we're going to go to the Chrome Web Store. The easiest thing for me to do, honestly, is just like Google Bitmoji extension because it's like the first thing that comes up. So you're going to click that. And where mine says remove from Chrome, you will have an option that says add to Chrome. Excuse me. All right. So we're going to create our Bitmoji, download the extension. And one of the things you can do is when you search for your Bitmoji, this is a question people ask a lot. How do you get it without the words? If you type pose in the search, you can kind of get yourself in any situation, or you could type like sit, you know, so you can be sitting in a chair or something like that. So I have given you 6 links down here to like create your own Bitmoji classroom. When this started, people were like trying to build their own, that kind of thing. And now we don't have to go like scavenge for all of those materials. And you can actually just import some backgrounds, add some things, and all those materials are already there. So the first one is a Bitmoji library. I'm not going to click on each one of these, but you can just kind of click through to see what you need. The second one are pre-made classrooms ready to go. Like you shouldn't have to add anything to them. The third has some more. Those are just rooms. This fourth link is kind of cool. It's makerspace rooms. So I don't know if that's something that you guys do in your school or have some STEM related activities or assignments. So those are already ready to go. So I've seen some where teachers are making like brain break rooms, you know, just to give their kids something fun to do. So those are already ready to go too, but you could actually like add those as a link on your buttons that we made earlier. So that's why I shared those for you. This is a link to Bitmoji backgrounds, items, and resources. So what that means is the rooms are not ready to go for you, but they have all the materials for you to create your own. And then this last one is a whole bunch of Bitmoji objects to go in your classroom that they've already removed the backgrounds, and all you have to do is copy and paste. All right, so I'm going to I'm going to show you how to make your own. And then if you want to use one that's already ready to go, that's fine. So I'm going to actually click like this link to Bitmoji backgrounds first. And if you feel like this girl really worked really hard, you can send her some money. So she has over 150 backgrounds for Bitmoji classrooms. And the cool thing about these two is they're not hard to make, especially if they've already been created for you, and you can change them as time goes on. So like as we get closer to Christmas, if you wanted to do a Christmas classroom, you know, things like that, you can. And this is just a way to make your classroom, A, be interactive, and B, bring some of the fun and excitement of the classroom in through the screen. So you can be super fancy. And even like things that look like this, guys, like with a black wall, I mean, we can put a whiteboard on that. We can add a rug to the floor. So you may think that looks really dark, but it's really just kind of a blank canvas for you. Same thing with the bricks. Look, there's Christmas. I didn't even know those were in there. I saw one where somebody made theirs and their Bitmojis like sitting at home on the couch and like grading the students' papers. So, you know, you can make it as fun as you want. So you can just find the one you like. I'm going to use this one because I like the lights at the top. And you can right click and actually just copy this whole slide or click it where the yellow is around it or orange and press Control C. And I'm going to go up here to File, New Presentation. And then I'm going to click over here and paste it. Okay, so it's going to ask you, because you imported it from somewhere else, do you want to link it to the original presentation or do not link? I don't want this to be a link to go back to all of her work, so I'm going to make sure I press do not link. And then I'm going to delete this first slide, so I'm going to press it and then press the delete button or the backspace button. So now all I have is my one classroom. Will you repeat that? So guys, I clicked on the 5th one down, link to many Bitmoji backgrounds. It takes me to her website. And I clicked on over 150 backgrounds for Bitmoji classrooms. Remember, I'm showing you how to make your own. You can see she has classrooms ready to drop links in. So if you want to use one ready to go, you can. But this is how you make your own. That link I clicked took me to these. And I just scrolled down until I found one that I liked personally. Once you find the one you like, you just click it. Press Control-C or right-click and copy. Go up to File, New Presentation. This was my new presentation, so I pressed Control-V for paste. Be sure to press Do Not Link. And then I deleted the blank slide that was automatically defaulted when you created a new slides presentation. All right, so from Google Slides, you can choose to like insert your own images and like search the web. But the problem with this is you may want a picture of a dog that looks like yours, but you're going to have all the grass behind it. So you would have to remove the background, things like that. So if you go back to this image here where I have, or this link where I have Bitmoji objects, somebody somewhere went through the trouble of putting them into sections with all the backgrounds already removed. And all you have to do is click on it, copy it, go back to your presentation, and paste it. Okay, so you can just copy and paste until your heart is content. Here's some cool lights for you, some wall decor. So I'm just going to copy some classroom rules here. Go paste them right here. And guys, you just keep adding until you love this classroom. So you can see they've given you some board options here. So I'm just going back and forth. The classroom object slides page to my slides. And eventually it will come together. So I like to start, with things that are big. Like I personally like to start, like, where am I going to put my desk or a table, or am I doing a rug, something like that. You just kind of play with the sizes. We don't want it up on the wall there, so it's going to end up looking kind of small. And I decided I need something at the top, so I'm going to go find something fun. I have 2 lights that I need these to like fit between, so that's why I'm getting something kind of plain and then make them the same, you know. Some of the ready to go ones, like if you teach elementary, already have like your ABC strip up at the top or have your numbers. So those may be some you want to look at. If they're in Google Slides, you know, for the most part, you may be able to copy and paste unless they've saved them all as pictures first. I mean, you can be fancy and have a fireplace in there. If you have a window, you can have curtains. You may need like a bookcase. I like that idea. Like I said, you just keep going till you find whatever makes you happy. I'm going to choose this desk right here, and I'm going to show you why. So she has this desk, but it's facing the wrong way for my classroom. So I can actually flip it under rotate, like flip horizontally, so that it now faces the way I need it to go. Okay, so you can do that with like anything you have. Now remember I said layering things is going to be your best friend. So you know, if your rug showed up to be in front of your desk, that may not look right. So we might have to right click on it and send the rug backward. You see what I'm saying? Now the corner of the desk is on top of the rug. I'm going to get my text box and I'm going to say, welcome to class. I'm going to make it big and pretty. All right, so the same way that we linked our items on when we made our buttons and our banners and all earlier in Google Draw, if I click on the classroom rules and I want to take it to my rule page in Schoology, once again, I just click on it, press the link button, and paste that link right there. I've seen several people, like if they have a bookshelf, they might put pictures of the books right here. They might put a sign. You know, some people have put like the teacher put a picture of their family, like here or on their desk. You know, just trying to make it a little more homey. But you could make anything up here be a link. Maybe you have like a fun bean bag in front of your reading nook over here or something. Ms. Smith, you do not have to do it in Google Draw because we are going to actually embed it from Google Slides. So same thing, if you ever want to change it, just change it in this presentation and it'll automatically change in Schoology again. Absolutely. Okay, so Tara, will you repeat how to make it a link from Google Drive? Yes, so anytime you're in like a Google product, Google Slides, Docs, whatever, you can click the share button. If you're in your drive specifically, guys, please ignore how messy my drive is these days, but you can just click whatever you're wanting to and right click and click get shareable link. You can click the share button if you need to make sure that it's not got the restrictions like Morgan County Schools or whatever. But that's how you can do that. And then once again, I don't know if I have a folder handy. Like you can share this whole folder the exact same way. So I'm going to click that, copy it, and notice it does say it's restricted. Only people added can open with this link. So I need to make this either one of those. And then you'll just come over here and I'll make the whiteboard be the link and press the link button and paste. And then click apply. So, like I said, if you put books on your bookshelf, you make it link them to a YouTube video about that topic or something like that. So once you have this the way you like it, and remember, you can work on this for 3 more hours today and to get it perfect. So I'm going to show you how to add your Bitmoji, but I do want to hit on real fast what I addressed with Miss Smith. So if I create 10 separate Bitmojis all in this same Google presentation, when you embed them into your classroom, it will show all 10. They'll be able to click through it like a Google Slides. Okay, so I don't, if you went ahead and worked on your Christmas one right now for, whatever reason, they're going to be able to go ahead and see that. So you would need to make 10 different Bitmojis, one for each month, or 10 different presentations rather, and create them in 10 different actual presentation slides. You wouldn't want to just keep creating a new slide. If you don't care about you're not going to save this one for whatever reason, you're going to redo them every year, so it's not a big deal if you lose them, then you could just come right here and change your desk, change your bookshelf, and then it'll automatically update that way. So you only want one slide or one Bitmoji slide in each presentation. Maybe that narrowed down, clarified what I was trying to say. And then you can change the links. All that will automatically update because we're going to embed. That's the key word, embed it into your Schoology, okay? Some people are also you can see my background has the 3 lights. Some people are keeping the backgrounds the same so that their classroom looks the same and then just adding all the other stuff to it. Some people are going from house to school to outside, just, to spice things up a little bit. So whatever is your personality and fits your classroom, definitely go for it. So I'm going to go up here to Bitmoji. And you can see I've already had me several times doing different things. When you click it, it's going to tell you right click and choose copy image, or you can drag and drop yourself into your presentation. So I'm going to see if I can make myself look kind of normal sitting on the beanbag here. Absolutely, Mahaley. I would recommend that 100%. So she asked in the chat, could you have a practice Google Slides and keep the ones you're not using and then have the one that's embedded? Yes. So you could absolutely work off that as well. Good thought. Alexis, which one updates automatically, slides or drawings? They both do because you're going to embed them no matter what. The only one that doesn't work like that is Google Docs. Or it doesn't seem to work the same. All right, so you can have your Bitmoji wherever you want. I'm going to grab a different one of me just to make a point here. So in this one, I'm standing. So I'm going to drag and drop myself over here. There I am. So remember when I said a while ago, layering these things is going to be your best friend? Let's say I want to put myself behind the desk. Then I would want to right click and say send backwards. And I might have to do that a couple of times to make it back. You might can just click on your desk and say bring it forward. That might be faster. I don't want to say send to back because it's going to send it behind the background. So you have to kind of keep playing until you get these in the order that you want. So there I am. Now I'll fit behind my desk. And I kind of want to flip me vertically. Nope, not like that. Horizontally, rather. Sorry. And like have my other hand up. So almost like I'm pointing to the board. I look kind of tall. I'm a short person anyway, so I'm going to keep kind of dragging until I have the adjustments that I like. And I like me better there than here, so there you go. All right, so there we are. We're all in our little classroom here. You should have yours. Hopefully you've got a good start if it's not perfect. So just like in your banners and your buttons, like you can, like I said, you can make all these things linkable too. So some people are putting them together. Like some people may have their banner that we created and then their Bitmoji classroom, and then maybe a few more links at the bottom. Or maybe like on the bookshelf, you have it linked to some videos or audio things that they can listen to or watch. But then you have like your math, reading, science stuff at the bottom too, your buttons. So there's lots of different ways you can do it. Some people are just doing the Bitmoji classroom. Personally, I like the buttons just because, I mean, these do not say click here. You know what I'm saying? But I also like to know clearly, like this is taking me to this specific spot. All right, so I'm gonna leave mine here for just the time being, and I'm gonna go back to our agenda here. So you can see that step number 4 is to embed your classroom in the announcements area as we did above. If you do this, then every time you change your classroom in that same file, those are the key words, it will automatically change in Schoology. And I'm going to get my dimensions for you guys as well on my original Bitmoji. So in order to make it larger, on the screen when you embed, I'm copying mine from a different one I made. I'm going down to File, Page Setup, Custom. And I'm going to show you what I have, but that is not what I think is right. That's what's on my other screen you guys can't see. So it makes it wide. So I guess that is right. And what that does is it fills in the extra space when you embed it. So those dimensions were 5.99 by 3.13, and I'll go add those here. If you want it to be, if you wanted to make like just a banner like people were doing in Google Classroom back in the spring when we were all still in Classroom and not Schoology, but you want it to be that same kind of size, and maybe you're not doing Bitmoji or you're not really adding buttons, you're just going to have that one banner. These were the dimensions that I found online. Okay, if you change your outfit in Bitmoji, does it automatically change? No, because there's so many Bitmojis, so you would have to go get your new one. In creating a room, and I'm reading the questions in the chat, have the kids clicking on a globe, linking them to CNN. I created this on August 5th.
Okay, so the issue with that is going to be that it's going to be on CNN's end. So if they have the same link every day, you could copy that. But what you have probably copied is just the link for August 5th. I don't know how CNN does it, or if there is like a link that you could send them to maybe like all current events and then let them pick on the day. I know that's not ideal, but we don't have any other way to do that, unfortunately. If CNN always used the same link, we could fix it, but they don't. How do you get your new Bitmoji? So if I were to go change on my phone, and you have to make the changes like on the apps, but if I were to go change on my phone and decide I'm going to wear a different color shirt, when you update it, it's going to update here too. And so you'll just go back to your extension, and then it'll update because it's linked to your account. It'll update with your new pink or red shirt instead of purplish or black shirt. If you have like an iPhone, I'm sure it's the same way with Google Play, or an Android, but I have an iPhone. Now that you have the app, like you can, the Bitmojis will like link through your text messages, and you can send them, and be all super cool. And they have words, if you've never used it before, kind of like you saw welcome, good morning, happy birthday, things like that. Okay, so I'm going to give it a title so that when I go embed it, I know which one I'm looking for. So it's kind of bare, but I'm just kind of going bare bones at the moment just to show you. So we're going to go back to Schoology. We're going to go back to updates. And we're going to do the same thing we did. We're going to click resources, apps. Here it is again. Click the import option and import embed. And there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and click the bell and press post. Okay, so you can only have like one announcement up at a time. So what would be the way to do this? Put your Bitmoji in Google Draw and then build your buttons around it. Just like how I was in this earlier when I created it, I can add my Bitmoji right here. I have to fix my circle, but you get the idea. All right, so I'm looking at questions. Let's see. So Amy, how did you get your Bitmoji behind? So if you click on it and right click, if you go to order, you can tell whichever one you've clicked to go backwards or forwards. And then let's see, how did you make import embed show up? So to make it show up, unfortunately, you have to go back to your materials. And then like create a page or something. Here's the one I created earlier. And then we use this arrow to insert content. Click Google Drive Resource App. And then you're going to do it from there. Import embed there. And then it will show up on the Updates tab. So if I wanted to put my Bitmoji into my Google Slides, I'm going to download it as a JPEG or a PNG, like a picture file.
If you do it this way, you are going to lose your links.
So it'll just be like a stagnant picture. You won't be able to click on the bookcase or anything like that. But I'll download it here. And then in my sample, like I can add a picture. Bitmoji. Nope, Schoology training. And there it is. So once again, I would need to like reformat what I have going. And you may, guys, use your Bitmoji as your banner. You know what I mean? Instead of having all this that says like Miss Hudson's class, like you may choose to delete that and then use this. And you can put your contact information there, like in your slides. Okay, let's see, that didn't work. Import embed still isn't there. It's not there in your materials page either, Adrian. And did you download the Google Drive resources app? I think you did that if you made it that far. Mandy, any idea why I have error Microsoft Edge when I'm in resources and clicking Google Drive resources? I do not. Did you install Microsoft Edge? Mandy, sorry, that was to you. And guys, if you know some of this and feel free to answer back in the chat too, if you already know. Adrian, I do not know. Hang on just a second and let me go take a look. Guys, I'm just going to try something. You know, we're all learning together here. So in Google Draw, if you wanted to work around to make your Bitmoji linkable, you could still build like your bare bones and insert it here or insert your picture kind of thing. And then like now I could insert a picture of that book. Does that make sense? So you can't build the whole thing in Google Draw, but you could build most of it that's not going to change and then still have linkable things here. So for example, I can't click my classroom rules, but if I could get a picture of it, I could put it right there and then make a link. So you can still make it interactive. It just takes an extra step. And that's one thing that, you know, as you get more comfortable, you may be more comfortable with more steps, but until you get there, you know, take it slow. I'll be happy to help you anytime, however I can. Okay, so let me answer. Jennifer, I get the same thing. Has something to do with my Dell computer. Okay, I am on 2 Dells, and I haven't had that happen, but I haven't had anybody else say that they did. So you may have to figure that out. Let me go in here and edit page. So Adrian, when you do insert content, your Google Drive is there, but then it doesn't show up when you go to import it. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I'll be happy to help you, Adrian, and stuff when we get to the end. I'm going to finish up, and then we'll go back and look at your problem. The S icon when you're in Schoology is like the help center. They don't have great like on-site support, like if you wanted to call somebody and ask them a question, but they do have very good articles here. So like if I were to type in like embed link not showing or something like that. If I were to type something along those lines and search for it, maybe we could find the answer. And I don't see it right off the bat that way, but I have had really good success using the help options there.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to jump back to our agenda, and I promise you ladies, I haven't forgotten. I'll link some videos here on how to embed different Google tools as an announcement, making your embed bigger in the announcements, which is where I got the dimensions from. Freebies from Brittany Baker Cohen. She's the one that gave us like the Chevron template at the beginning. And she shared a lot of good resources. So she has a website. There's a video on creating Schoology buttons. This video is how I learned to do what I did. And so from there, you know, once you get the hang of it, you kind of know what to do. And then I just kind of left you with the class banner size. Once again, if you wanted it to be more like the Google Classroom feel at the top, you could use those dimensions. So that is our training on how to make Schoology pretty and functional. I want to leave some time for questions. You're welcome to unmute your mic, or you can put them in the chat. And if you would like, if there's some of you that want to see kind of like Canva in action, I'll be happy to do that too. So fire away if you have some questions. Now is your time.
Hey, Brooke, it's Terry.
Hey.
I'm curious as to, okay, since I'm the librarian,
Okay.
I read that it was better for me to form a group instead of a course. So, you know, can you add materials in your updates? Does that work the same in groups as it does in courses?
Materials, I know for sure. I'm going to click on my groups just to see here. I'll click on course content. You might have been told to join it. So you can see, Terry, there's no like updates. I mean, there's only updates rather here. So you wouldn't be posting any types of assignments like you could with materials. You would only be able to share resources. Does that make sense? You would.
Yes.
I mean, you could make it work. I think you probably could, but I mean, I'm trying to think for the library, you know, that's what I did in all these different terms. But, you know, would you make something with the due date? Maybe, you know, depending on the situation. And if that's the case, then you would need a course. But for you, that means all of your students would have to join with that code.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. I was thinking if I did maybe a course for every grade level and then just linked to it for the group, but they would still have to join my course. So
they would still have to join the course or join the group, either one.
Okay. Oh, okay. So if they join the group, would they already be in the course?
No.
No.
Two separate things. And Terry, if they join a course, it's going to automatically show up like on their course listing. If they join a group, they're going to have to click on the groups tab.
Well, actually, you can go in and add people to your group without.
Oh, you could. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it totally depends on what you want out of it. I hate to word it that way, but. Guys, and she makes a good point. I'm sure somebody at your school talked to you in your Schoology training about groups. You know, you can make your own group. I used in our training, you know, if I wanted all librarians, for example, to have a group, we could create one and you could share your resources. Any resources here will actually show up in like your resources tab underneath the group tab or button, whatever you're going to call it. So where I had course content, Schoology educators, if I had like MCS media specialist, that would show up right here. And all the things we've shared are here. So even though courses, group, and resources are different, they still kind of streamline underneath one another within each tab. Okay, so I'm answering this question. Yes, I'm recording it right now. I have not figured out the best way to get it to you, but I certainly will. And then what do you think would be the easiest way for our youngest students to be able to access each day's assignments? Man, I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm not sure which ones are correct. So I have several thoughts in the sense of work smarter, not harder. You know, how many days or how many times are you going to change it? And I think we've all been told something a little bit different within our school to best suit the needs of our students. So I want to put that first. Put your students first, what they need. You know, we are educators. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to do what our students need us to do. But as I mentioned earlier, like the rule of 3 clicks. So without me seeing what you have on your screen, and Kelly, you can type it in because I think everybody's eye now is a little different. So if I was going back to my elementary school days, when I taught second grade. So we had like a different iNow course for each one: math, science, social studies, that kind of thing. So to access each day's assignments, they are going to essentially log in and see all 7, courses that they would have, or 6, whatever they've got. And so when they log in, you could have them do one of 2 things. I mean, probably 14 things really. You could have them click, maybe it's reading that shows up first, and maybe you create a special button for them that they know to always click there. And then maybe that's where your buttons come in, and you have one that says math, and it links them to the actual math course. So they are only ever clicking on one course. Does that make sense? If you do it that way, then you need to make sure that it's cohesive across your courses. So if you put like a Monday folder in your reading course, then you need a Monday folder in math. I think that's the easiest way for our littles to navigate. Also, you could just make a week folder, and you could put everything in that 1 week's folder. And that's kind of where I say, ask your admin a little bit what they want, just in the sense of, if you have them click on the original course and then you have this week's folder. I mean, you could put reading, math, science, and social studies all in that one folder. However, I'm trying to think ahead to next year, and those grades, when you start assigning things and you're syncing them, they're not all going to sync, because it's going to try to put them all in the reading iNow. So I'm trying to think the other side of this too. So I think your best bet is going to be somehow still trying to link them to each course. And I think if we can get it nailed down this year, then it'll make it, 10 times easier next year, when we're actually seeing those grades populate between both programs. I don't really know if that answers your question or gives you much help, but I'm trying to think for our parents, for our students. And one thing I didn't show you is, when you make a folder, and guys, remember, you can make this stuff as pretty or as plain as you want it, but since you're here, you obviously want to make it pretty. When you make a folder, and I'm going to scroll down and show you one that's done. Do you see this picture right here? You could do that. You could put a picture in each folder so they know exactly where to click. That would help. You can actually, you're on a device that has a camera, so you can, I'll edit this folder here. You can actually record yourself. If I did here Screencast-O-Matic, I could do a little intro video that would show up hey, boys and girls, this is what we're going to be teaching this week. And I enabled Screencast-O-Matic through the App Center, in case you were wondering. That's where these 4 came from. But you could actually tell them what to do. You could use Screencast-O-Matic to teach your math lesson or your reading lesson, and you can upload it right there, so they still have good instruction to watch from home. So I think the best thing we can do is make it as user-friendly as possible, no more than 3 clicks. And if we can try, and once again, I'm really talking about for our littles at the moment, if we can try to use those pictures and use those videos to help them navigate, I think that's going to be our best bet. What do you think about that? Please give me your feedback. I would love to know. It can probably help the other 150 people on here. Any other questions? Any thoughts? And I know we're all kind of in the same boat, trying to figure out what the best thing to do is, and that, like I said, that's going to look so different. And Ray keeps saying we're going to be flexible this year, and we're going to have patience and all that. And I know as teachers we like to plan, and so I feel your pain on that. And we just don't know. I mean, I finally decided last night, I just don't know the plan, and it's going to be okay. So we're going to do the best we can, and it's going to take some trial and error. And Shannon Hembry said, love the idea of video instructions. I'll be honest and say, if you're middle and high school, for sure, that's where I'm going. But I think for our elementary, if you don't video your instructions on what to click, I definitely think they would love to see your face. Even if you have your little whiteboard, you can set up your screen and just, kind of roll away from it so that they can see more if you have a book or something like that. And, we can start small and build as we go. I know everybody's been saying we're building the ship while we're paddling, but
as we go, we're going to get better. We're going to get more comfortable. And like I said before, we know there's going to be mistakes. And, even in all these things, when you add materials, if you get ahead of the game, like down here at the bottom, you can choose to publish it now or wait. And so I've said several times, I'm sure there will come a time that I'm like, I'm going to unpublish this and then go republish it on Wednesday and I'll forget all about it. And the kids will be looking at me like I'm crazy. So I just know those things are going to happen and I'm trying to embrace it. Roller coaster during an earthquake. I like that. I haven't heard that one. That's a good one. We're on a roller coaster during an earthquake. Well, if nobody else has any pressing questions, I'm going to take just the next few minutes and I'm going to show those of you who are like my people that want to know how to make everything super duper pretty. I'm going to show you that real fast. And then I know I have another training session at 10:30. So if you came today and you are done, thank you so much. Don't forget to make sure you sign that Google form. I will get the responses of that from Miss Terry, and I will send you the recording from today that way. That's the only way I know to do it. We have had up to 180 people watching this. We're down to 144. So I just know there's no way I could have known how many people or who to even start with. So we will go from there. And I thank you guys so much. If I can help you in any way, please let me know. I do really love this stuff. It is something I'm passionate about, so I don't mind at all. And if I don't know the answer, I will certainly do everything I can to find it. The link to the form, let me grab it one more time, guys. This is what I've got on the link to the form. I just put it in the chat. You guys are so welcome. You can thank some teachers who saw it on Facebook. They're the ones who made this session possible. So thank you guys again. And like I said, I'm always here if you need me. So if you're hanging around with me, I'm going to go ahead and open up because I just have just a few minutes. I'm going to go to the Canva website. Canva is where I do anything creative, like my entire life at this point is in Canva. So here's my Schoology buttons. Okay, so the reason I love Canva is because you have a lot more font choices. They give you templates already ready to go for even like Google Slides and stuff like that. Other people create them and then put them out publicly. So they have them over here like ready. And I just love that because I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Any of those cutesy fonts, all my elementary folks, like you've downloaded from DeFont or wherever, you can actually upload those into your account. I pay the $10, $12 a month for the Bitmoji unlimited account or whatever. It's worth every penny to me because I probably use it every day. So like when I was making these, if you're over here on Elements, you can search for like circle. And let me tell you, Canva has a learning curve. I did not want to use it when I first used it or first heard about it. And so finally I kept asking people, well, what are you doing that makes it cute? And everybody was like, I use Canva. So I decided I had to learn. I've seen some people do like watercolor stuff, So what I ended up doing here is just finding like a circle that had the dashed line. And up here, like I can change all my colors. I'm sorry, I'm going kind of fast, but I do have another class at 10:30. And this is a font I uploaded called Return to Sender. Okay, so there it is. I'm just going to use this one as an example. My only thing I don't love about Canva to make these buttons is I can't save just this. I get this entire white screen. You can go up here and resize it. And if we know exactly what dimensions, you can. I have not figured out exactly what I like yet, which is why I haven't done that. I'm still trial and erroring some of this, but you can see they already have, like if you wanted to make a Facebook post, they already have the exact dimensions from Facebook, Instagram, 8.5 by 11, like whole sheets of paper. So I don't know yet what I love. Okay. I just don't. I'll be honest and say that. So I'm going to download this one page as a picture, and I want to have a transparent background, meaning it's clear instead of that white screen. And I'm only going to download page 1 because that's all I'm showing you right now. And download. Now I did also make my banner here. Like I made this little divider, and all those are are just little bitty circles. And then see where it says ungroup? I just grouped them together as one thing. Okay, so these are my little cover photos for the class. And so this is where I was saying it takes several steps. I went into PowerPoint. And I will download this here. I'm just going to drag it in. So do you see how the picture itself is this big? Even though it has a transparent background, it literally takes up the whole screen. I don't want that because when I put it in Google Draw, I don't need it to be, you know, this big. Sorry, y'all can't see my hands when they get out here. This picture.
Where are you going? You're leaving.
Jeff Andrews, I can hear you. All right, so I'm going to crop this picture down. And this is why I was saying earlier that I really love like PowerPoint or Publisher for
You don't need to get it all in one day.
And then you can actually like right click and click save as picture. So now I have just that size and all I have is course syllabus. Does that make sense? Instead of having the whole thing with all the extra, it's just that. You could attempt to build the same thing in PowerPoint. It's just going to be a whole bunch of layers. And then once again, if you built the whole thing, like if you did just like we did before, if you did insert circle, just like we did in Google Draw, and then we got to find a dashed circle to go on top of it, and then a text box. So when you're done, you can just click on it and click save as picture again. So that's why I do like using my Microsoft Office products for making this, or, you know, at least saving it. It is a couple of steps. If you don't have a Canva account, I highly encourage you to go get one. It is just so awesome to me. It's worth every penny that I have spent on it thus far. And like I said, it's because all this stuff is already here. Every shape, every picture, you can do photos, stickers, and then you can just build whatever you want to. So that is Canva. Like I said, I download them into PowerPoint. And if you decide you want to give that a try, I can walk you through it in more detail than just 5 minutes. But Google Draw, you know, it'll do a lot to get you started. If you wanted to make it pretty, remember I said you could download like the digital paper from Teachers Pay Teachers and use that as your backgrounds. And then you'll just make your shapes on top of the background. All right, so if you have any questions about anything I've said today, I feel like I've blown through some at the end, please let me know. I hope this helps you, and I expect to see lots of pretty Schoology courses here soon. All right, so I'm going to hop off of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.